Soften slowly. Let the noise of the day move further away with each breath. You do not have to listen to every word that follows. The voice will keep going gently. Tonight we are going to drift very slowly downward into the hidden world beneath the ground, the vast, ancient, and perfectly silent dark of the caves. This is the Circadian Institute. We make slow, scientifically grounded stories meant for sleep. The voice is steady, the pace is patient. Tonight's destination is the deep, slow story of the underground, the patient dissolving of solid stone into hollow space, the impossibly slow growth of new stone from falling drops, the still black water, the gentle eyeless life, the deepest silent shafts, and the timeless, changeless calm of the dark far beneath our feet. Subscribing is the small gesture that keeps these journeys reaching new sleepers each night. Let your body settle, the way the air settles in a deep cave, slowly, completely, until it is perfectly still. There is nothing you need to do tonight and nothing you need to remember. The world beneath the ground has been dark and quiet for longer than there have been eyes to see it, and tonight is simply one more still moment within that vast, patient dark. Tonight we drift slowly downward, together into the hidden world below us, past the entrance, through the fading light, into the deep, silent dark, down to where the slow drops fall and the still water waits. There is no hurry underground. Nothing down there is in a rush. We will move at the gentle pace of water finding its way through stone. The journey is slow on purpose. No part of it asks you to stay awake. If you fall asleep before we reach the deepest dark, that is exactly the right ending. Let the bed hold you the way the deep rock holds the silence within it, gently, completely, and let the quiet descent begin. To begin tonight's journey, we go to a quiet place where the ground simply opens. A dark mouth in a hillside, half hidden by leaves, a shadowed gap between boulders, a slow sinkhole in a forest floor. From the outside it looks small and ordinary, but it is a doorway, and beyond it lies one of the largest hidden worlds on the whole of the earth. We rarely think about it, but beneath almost every landscape there is another one, a world of hollow stone, of passages and chambers and slow water, threading down through the rock in the dark. In some regions there are thousands of kilometers of natural cave passage below the surface, and most of it has never been seen by anyone. Caves form in many ways, but most of the great ones are dissolved slowly out of solid rock by nothing more than water and time. Where the rock is limestone, faintly acidic rainwater seeps in along tiny cracks and, over hundreds of thousands of years, quietly eats the stone away, hollowing out the dark. So a cave is not really an empty thing. It is a slow sculpture carved by patient water out of patient stone, over spans of time so long they are hard to hold in the mind. Every chamber we will drift through tonight took longer to form than our whole species has existed. The underground is also one of the most stable places anywhere in nature. Beyond the reach of the sun, the temperature of a deep cave barely changes, not with the day, not with the seasons, not from one year to the next. It simply holds gently year after year, at a single calm and steady coolness. And it is profoundly quiet. There is no wind underground, no traffic, no weather, almost no sound at all, only here and there the soft, slow, patient drip of water from stone, falling once and then a long moment later falling again. The deep cave is one of the most silent places on the planet. People have always felt this. For tens of thousands of years, caves have been places of shelter, of stillness, of quiet. To step through that small dark doorway is to leave the noise and the weather and the rush of the surface behind completely and enter a calm that has been waiting unchanged in the dark. There is something deeply restful in simply knowing it is there. Beneath the busy lit surface of the world lies this vast, silent, patient dark, cool, still, and unchanging, going gently about its slow work, asking nothing, disturbed by nothing for age after age after age. Tonight we are going in, not in a hurry, and not very far at a time, just drifting gently downward, the way slow water drifts down through stone. Let the surface and its noise fall away behind you now, the way daylight falls away behind someone stepping quietly into a cave. This hidden world is far more widespread than most of us imagine. Across the planet, vast regions are built on the kind of soluble stone that caves form in, gentle landscapes of pale rock where rivers vanish underground, and the surface is quietly hollow beneath. A great many people all over the earth live their whole lives directly above caves they will never see, drinking water that has traveled slowly through the dark below them. Most caves have no doorway at all that we can find. For every cave with an open mouth in a hillside, there are surely many more sealed completely within the rock, connected to the surface only through cracks far too narrow to enter. The entrances we know are the rare exceptions, the few quiet places where the hidden world happens to open to the light. Some caves breathe. Where a cave has more than one opening, the difference in temperature between the deep, stable air inside and the changing air outside sets up a slow, gentle current, a soft, almost imperceptible wind that drifts in or out of the entrance, season by season as the cave and the sky quietly exchange their air. Step just inside, and you feel the change at once. The noise of the wind drops away, the light softens, the air turns cool and even and still against your skin, holding the same gentle temperature it has held for ages. It is like stepping, in a single quiet pace, out of the restless surface and into a calmer, older, more patient world. Think for a gentle moment of how the underground sits beneath the ordinary world. Beneath a quiet meadow, beneath a sleeping town, beneath a forest road, the rock is not solid all the way down. It is threaded in places, with hollows and passages and slow water, a calm, dark architecture that the busy surface never feels and almost never knows is there. And it has always been there, waiting long before anyone came. These passages were carved and these chambers hollowed across spans of time so vast that all of human history is only the thinnest final layer above them. The cave does not know we exist. It has simply been here, calm in the dark, for an immensity of quiet years. There is a strange comfort in a place that asks nothing of you and never has. The cave does not need to be visited or understood or even known. It simply continues gently in the dark. And tonight, for a little while, we are allowed to drift quietly through a small part of it and then to rest. There is nothing to fear in this dark, and nothing you need to do in it. The cave has held its calm for 100,000 years without anyone watching, and it will hold yours gently now. Let us step through the doorway, slowly, and begin to understand how this quiet world was made. To understand the world we are drifting into, we have to think about something very slow and very gentle, how a solid mountain of stone becomes hollow. The answer is almost unbelievably patient. Most great caves are not dug or broken, they are quietly dissolved, drop by drop out of the rock itself. It begins in the sky, as rain falls, and as it soaks through the soil, it picks up a little carbon dioxide and becomes very faintly acidic, a soft, weak natural acid, far too gentle to harm a hand, but strong enough given enough time to slowly dissolve certain kinds of stone. The stone it works on is usually limestone, rock made long ago from the settled remains of countless tiny sea creatures, pressed into stone over millions of years. Limestone covers vast areas of the planet, and it has one quiet property that makes all the difference. Faintly acidic water can slowly dissolve it. The water seeps down into the tiniest cracks in the limestone, and as it goes, it dissolves a little of the stone and carries it away completely invisibly. A crack becomes a thread becomes a channel becomes a passage. None of it can be seen happening. All of it takes an immensity of time. This slow dissolving has a name: karst. In karst country, whole rivers vanish into the ground, sinkholes open gently in fields, and beneath the quiet surface a vast network of dissolved passages spreads through the rock. Much of the world's most beautiful cave scenery is karst, written slowly into limestone by patient water. The time scales are difficult to feel. A large cave passage may take hundreds of thousands of years to form. A great chamber may take longer still. The cave you might walk through in an afternoon is the result of water working, silently, in the dark, for far longer than there has been written history. Water also makes caves in other ways. Crashing waves slowly hollow sea caves into coastal cliffs. Cooling lava leaves long, hollow tubes behind it. Melting water carves blue caves into glaciers, but the great labyrinths, the deep and ancient ones, are nearly all the slow, gentle work of faint acid and limestone and time. Once the passage is hollow, the water keeps shaping it, gently, forever. It smooths the walls into soft flowing curves. It scallops the stone into delicate patterns. It polishes the floor. A cave is never quite finished. It is always very slowly still being made, drop by patient drop. There is a deep calm in this. The hollow dark we are drifting through was not made by force or haste. It was made by the gentlest possible thing. Soft water, faintly acidic, moving slowly, given the one thing the earth has in endless supply: time, patience, quite literally carved this world. It helps to picture where the stone itself came from. Long before it was a cave, the limestone was a sea. Over millions of years, the shells and skeletons of countless tiny ocean creatures drifted down and settled, layer upon layer, and were slowly pressed into rock. So the walls we drift past tonight are, quietly, an ancient seafloor lifted, hardened, and then patiently hollowed out again by water. The dissolving does not happen evenly. The water follows the smallest weaknesses in the rock, a hairline crack, a softer band, an old joint, and widens those first, leaving the harder stone behind. This is why caves wind and branch the way they do. Their shapes are simply a slow, faithful map of where the water found it easiest to go. Whole rivers take part in this. In karst country, a surface stream may run along, then slip quietly into a crack in its own bed and vanish underground completely, leaving a dry valley behind. It travels on through the dark for kilometers, hidden, before rising again, gently, as a clear spring somewhere far away. And the water never truly finishes even now. In every limestone cave on earth, it is still seeping, still dissolving, still carrying the faintest trace of stone away into the dark. The cave we are drifting through is not a finished thing but a slow, ongoing one, still being made gently around us, far too slowly to see. The acid that does all this is almost impossibly mild. It is far too weak to harm skin, too faint to taste, gentler than a drop of rain on the tongue. Its only strength is endurance. It cannot dissolve a mountain in a year, or a century, or 1,000 years, but given 100,000 quiet years working ceaselessly, it can hollow out a world. The cave is a monument to gentle persistence. Temperature guides the work as well. Cool water rich in dissolved gas can carry more stone away, so caves often deepen along the slow paths where cooler water gathered. The shape of a great system is, in the end, a faithful record of where water of just the right kind moved most patiently for the longest time. And the rock must wait its turn to be hollowed. Limestone often lies buried under other stone for ages, doing nothing, until the slow lifting of the land and the slow cutting of rivers finally bring it within reach of the seeping water. Only then does the patient dissolving begin. A cave can wait, gently, a very long time to start becoming a cave. Now we understand gently where we are, inside a slow sculpture of dissolved stone, far below the light. Let us drift further in, past the last of the daylight, into the strange soft region where the outside world finally lets go, the entrance and the twilight of the cave. Just inside the doorway of a cave is a gentle in-between place. The outside world still reaches in here. A little daylight spills across the floor. The air still moves softly with the weather outside. Ferns and mosses gather where the light falls. This is the entrance zone, where the surface and the underground quietly overlap. It is a sheltered, restful place. Out of the wind, out of the rain, a little cooler in summer and a little warmer in winter, the entrance of a cave has always been a refuge for animals and for our own ancestors who sat in exactly such soft-lit doorways, looking out at the weather, safe in the quiet. As we move further in, the light begins to fail. Not suddenly, gently, the way dusk comes, the bright doorway shrinks behind us to a soft, pale shape. The colors fade from the stone, the green plants thin out and stop because there is no longer enough light for them to live. We are entering the twilight zone of the cave. This twilight is much like the twilight of the deep ocean. There is just enough faint light far behind us now to tell the way out from the way in, but never enough to truly see by. The world here is soft gray shapes and gentle shadow, cool and quiet and dim, neither the bright surface nor the true dark. Creatures of this zone live in two worlds at once. Bats roost here in the cool, dim air and fly out at dusk to feed under the sky. Moths and spiders and gentle small animals shelter in the shadows, going out for food and returning to the calm. They use the cave for its stillness but still belong partly to the light. Then comes a threshold, soft and absolute, a turn in the passage, a narrowing, a bend, and the last faint glow from the entrance is gone, completely. Behind us, nothing. Ahead, nothing. For the first time, the dark is total. We have crossed gently out of the reach of the sun entirely. It is a strange and calming moment that crossing up until here, the surface still had some small hold on the world. Past this point it has none. No light has ever reached this stone. No day has ever dawned here, from here inward. Everything is the deep, true, unbroken dark of the underground. Many gentle creatures live their entire lives without ever crossing back over that line in either direction. To them, the dark is not frightening or empty. It is simply home, the only world they have ever known, calm and constant and complete. In the twilight zone, life is arranged gently by light. Closest to the entrance, where a little daylight still falls, mosses and ferns hold on. A little deeper, where it is too dim for them, only animals remain. Each creature lives exactly as far in as the fading light, and its own needs will gently allow a soft, quiet gradient of life, thinning steadily into the dark. The animals here are mostly visitors, not residents, they are called. Gently, the threshold dwellers, creatures that use the cave's calm shelter but still belong to the world outside, a moth resting on cool stone through the heat of the day, a bird nesting in the dim shelter of the entrance. They borrow the quiet, then return to the light. The bats belong to both worlds at once, and they pass through this zone every evening. As the light fades outside, they wake in the cool, dim air, drop softly from the stone, and drift out through the twilight into the night to feed. Before dawn, they return the same way, gently back into the calm dark to rest. And the temperature shifts as you go, gently and steadily. Near the entrance, the air still rises and falls with the day outside. Step by step inward, those swings grow smaller and softer until they fade away entirely and the air holds one single, even, unchanging coolness. You can almost feel the surface quietly letting go. In the twilight, the light plays gentle tricks. The pale glow from the distant entrance softens everything, smoothing the stone into quiet grays and blurring the edges of things. There are no sharp shadows here because the light is too faint and too scattered to cast them. The world becomes soft-edged and dreamlike, the way a room looks just as you are falling asleep. Spend long enough here, and the eye slowly gives up its searching. There simply is not enough light to resolve detail, no matter how the eye strains, and after a while it stops trying. There is a quiet relief in that surrender, the gentle moment the eye stops working so hard and simply lets the dimness be. This soft border has always felt meaningful to people. The threshold of a cave, half in light and half in dark, is the kind of place our ancestors paused at, sheltered in, and returned to again and again. Something in us recognizes it, a quiet edge between the busy world and a deeper, older calm. Let that quiet crossing be the feeling of settling deeper now, leaving the last of the day's light behind you gently, the way the passage leaves it behind, and going on into the calm, into the deep, into the steady, unchanging dark that we will rest in for the rest of this journey. Beyond the twilight lies the heart of the cave, the dark zone. Here the darkness is not dim, not faint. It is total, perfect, and permanent. It is the kind of dark in which eyes are useless, the kind that has never once in the whole long life of the cave been broken by a single ray of light. This is a darkness most of us have never truly experienced. Even on the darkest night above ground, there is starlight or a faint glow on the horizon or the slow adjustment of the eye. Down here, there is none of that. The eye waits and adjusts and waits, and nothing ever comes. It is a soft, complete, absolute dark. And yet there is nothing harsh about it. The dark of a deep cave is not cold and cruel, it is calm. It is even steady and gentle, wrapped around the still stone like a soft blanket that never lifts. Once the eye stops searching and simply rests, the dark becomes one of the most peaceful things there is. The dark zone is extraordinarily stable. Deep in a cave, the temperature settles to roughly the average year-round temperature of the land above, and then it simply stays there. No summer heat reaches it, no winter cold, no day, no night. It holds one gentle, even coolness, unchanged for thousands of years. The air is almost perfectly still and often soft with moisture, so that fine mist hangs gently in the great chambers. There is no wind to stir it. Sounds, when they come, are only the slow drip of water and the faint trickle of an unseen stream, and between them, a silence deeper than almost anywhere on earth. Because nothing changes here, time itself seems to slow. There is no cycle of light and dark to mark the days, no seasons to mark the years. A creature of the dark zone lives in one long, even gentle present where almost nothing ever happens quickly and almost nothing ever happens at all. This stillness is exactly why caves are such perfect keepers of the past. With no weather, no light, no change, things left in the dark zone are held almost untouched for tens of thousands of years. The dark does not destroy, it gently preserves. We will return to that quiet gift later in our journey. It is profoundly restful to imagine, as you lie here in the dark of your own room, far below countless landscapes, there are vast chambers of perfect, gentle, unchanging darkness, cool, silent, still, that have been exactly this calm for longer than our species has had language, and will stay this calm long after tonight. Without light, the dark zone has no sense of time of day, and that does something gentle to the life within it. The creatures here keep no schedule. There is no dawn to wake to, no dusk to rest by, no season to prepare for. They live in one long, even undivided present, and many of them, freed from the clock entirely, live remarkably long, slow, patient lives. The humidity here is almost total. With cool stone all around and slow water everywhere, the air in the dark zone is usually saturated, soft and damp, so that the faintest mist hangs in the great chambers and every surface glistens gently. It is a moist, cool, cushioned kind of calm, like the inside of a held breath. Sound behaves strangely in this stillness. With no wind and no other noise, the smallest sounds carry with perfect clarity, a single drop, a faint trickle, far off, heard as if it were close. And between those small sounds lies a silence so complete that many people resting in it say they can hear nothing at all but their own quiet heartbeat. Everything about the dark zone, then, is steady. The temperature steady, the air steady, the darkness steady, the silence steady, the slow drip steady. It is perhaps the most constant environment on the entire planet, a place defined gently by the simple fact that almost nothing here ever changes. It is worth resting on just how steady this steadiness is. In the deep dark zone, the temperature can hold within a fraction of a degree of the same value for centuries. Nothing in the ordinary world is that constant. Not a house, not a forest, not the deep sea near the surface. The cave is quietly one of the most unchanging places that exist. That constancy is why the cave feels timeless. Time, as we usually feel it, is really the feeling of things changing, light moving, temperature shifting, sounds coming and going. Remove all of that as the dark zone does, and the sense of time grows soft and quiet until an hour and a year feel gently almost the same. And the stillness is generous. It does not press on you or demand anything. It simply surrounds you, cool and even and complete, the way deep water surrounds something resting in it, holding you gently in place without any effort of your own. The dark zone is, in its quiet way, one of the most restful environments on Earth. We are in that calm now, drifting gently through it. And all around us in this dark, very slowly, the cave is making something, building delicate stone out of falling water, one patient drop at a time. Let us drift closer and watch that slow architecture form. In the dark, the cave is quietly building. All through these still chambers rise delicate shapes of pale stone, long hanging spires, slow rising mounds, fine curtains and columns. They are called speleothems, and every one of them was built gently by nothing more than dripping water and almost unimaginable patience. It works like this. Water seeps down through the limestone above, dissolving a little stone as it comes. When a drop finally emerges on a cave ceiling and hangs there, it releases a breath of carbon dioxide into the air, and as it does, it must let go of a tiny trace of the stone it carried. That trace stays behind as a ring of new rock. Drop after drop, each leaving its faint ring, a hollow tube of stone grows slowly downward from the ceiling, a soda straw, thin and fragile and translucent. Given enough time, it thickens into a hanging spire of stone, a stalactite reaching slowly down into the dark. The drop that falls from its tip lands on the floor below and leaves its own faint trace of stone there. Over ages, that builds slowly upward into a rounded mound, a stalagmite rising patiently to meet the spire above it. Sometimes, after a very long time, the two finally touch and join into a single column of stone. Where water flows in thin sheets instead of drops, it leaves smooth, glassy stone called flowstone, draped down the walls like frozen folds of cloth. Where it runs along a slanted ceiling, it builds delicate hanging draperies, so fine that some of them glow softly when lit from behind. The slowness of all this is the most astonishing part. A stalactite typically grows by less than 1/10 of a millimeter in a year, a formation no longer than a finger may have taken 1,000 years to grow. A great column reaching from floor to ceiling can be the work of hundreds of thousands of years of falling drops. Stand among them gently in your mind. Every spire and mound and curtain around you is a clock, ticking once with every slow drop. The whole chamber is a single, silent, three-dimensional record of time, built so slowly that, to the stone, our entire lives pass in the space of a single drip. And it is all still happening right now, tonight. Somewhere in the dark, a drop is gathering at the tip of a stalactite. It hangs, it swells, it falls, and a trace of stone, far thinner than paper, is added to a spire that has been growing since before the pyramids. Then, slowly, the next drop begins to gather. Not all the formations hang or rise, where mineral water films across a wide ceiling and edges past small crystals. It can grow in slow defiance of gravity, fine twisting threads of stone that curl and branch in gentle, impossible directions. These delicate forms, called helictites, seem to drift sideways through the air, grown so slowly that their slow disobedience never shows. On the floors of some chambers lie still, shallow pools rimmed with fine natural dams of stone, built drop by drop where the water's edge once rested. They step gently down a passage like a flight of quiet terraces, each one holding a sheet of perfectly calm water, mirror smooth in the dark. The colors come from the rock itself. Pure cave stone is white or softly translucent, but faint traces of iron tint it warm amber and rust, and other minerals lend gentle ochres and creams. Lit softly, a formation can glow from within, because the thin stone is just clear enough to let a gentle light pass through it. And the formations are fragile beyond words. A soda straw is a tube of stone with walls thinner than paper. A drapery can be a sheet of stone you could almost see daylight through. Each took thousands of years to grow and could be lost in an instant, which is part of why the deep cave's untouched stillness matters so gently and so much. Try to feel the pace of it gently. In the time it takes a stalactite to grow the width of a single hair, a person can be born, live a whole long life, and pass away. In the time it takes one to reach from ceiling to floor, whole civilizations rise and are forgotten. The formation does not notice any of this. It simply quietly grows. Each formation is also a kind of vessel holding the water that made it. Run a gentle light through a thin stalactite and it glows softly from within, lit like a held candle, because the stone is just translucent enough to pass the light along. They are not dead rock. They are slow, glowing, water-built things, quietly alive with the drip that feeds them. And the whole dark chamber, full of these slow shapes, is silent the entire time it builds. No sound marks the adding of each faint layer. The most elaborate architecture on earth is raised in perfect quiet by single drops, with no plan and no haste, simply because water keeps coming and time keeps passing. There may be no better image to rest with than this: a slow drop, falling in the dark, building something beautiful so gently and so patiently that no eye could ever see it move. Let your breath slow to that pace, and let us drift on deeper to where the stone itself turns to crystal. Sometimes in the dark, the slow work of water and stone produces something almost beyond belief. Not soft mounds and spires, but vast, clear geometric crystals, beams of glassy mineral longer than a room, growing in perfect silence in chambers no eye ever saw. The deep can be quietly one of the most beautiful places on earth. The most astonishing of these is a chamber discovered deep beneath a mountain in Mexico. Inside it lie crystals of selenite, a clear, soft, glassy form of gypsum, some of them more than 10 meters long and weighing many tons. They are among the largest natural crystals ever found anywhere on the planet. They did not form quickly. For hundreds of thousands of years, this chamber sat flooded with mineral-rich water, held by the warmth of magma far below at an almost perfectly steady temperature, just right and just stable for crystal to grow. In water that calm and that constant, the crystals grew with extraordinary slowness and perfect order. Slowness, again, is the secret. A crystal grows large and perfect only when it grows almost unimaginably slowly, atom by atom, with nothing ever disturbing it. These giant beams are the reward of a stillness that lasted unbroken for a span of time longer than all of human history many times over. Other caves grow other jewels, gently in the dark. Some are lined with delicate needles of aragonite, fine as frost. Some hold clusters of clear calcite, or soft blue and green mineral crusts, or fragile twisting forms that seem to defy gravity. Each is grown the same way, slowly, silently, undisturbed. No one shaped these. No hand arranged them. They are simply what happens when the right water sits in the right stone, in perfect darkness, perfectly still for long enough. The deep is full of such quiet, accidental, breathtaking order, grown patiently where no one was ever meant to see it. There is a gentle wonder in that beneath ordinary hillsides, in total darkness, there are rooms of glass and jewel that grew over ages of perfect calm, asking nothing, seen by no one, beautiful not for any purpose but simply as the quiet result of stillness and time. To stand among those giant beams would be to feel very small and very brief in the gentlest possible way. Each crystal is a single, perfect structure, longer than a room grown atom by atom in the dark, beside something that took 500,000 years of stillness to form. The worries of a single day grow very quiet and very light. Caves grow many other gentle minerals too. Some chambers are lined with soft botryoidal stone, rounded like clusters of pale grapes. Some hold delicate flowers of gypsum that seem to bloom slowly from the walls. Some are dusted with fine crystal that catches the faintest light like frost. Each is grown the same patient way, slowly in the dark, undisturbed. These crystal caves are extraordinarily delicate environments. The very stillness that grew them means they can be changed by almost nothing at all, a small shift in the air, a trace of warmth. They have stayed perfect only because for hundreds of thousands of years absolutely nothing disturbed them. Their beauty is quite literally made of undisturbed time. It is humbling and soothing to think that such beauty needs no witness. These crystals did not grow to be seen. They grew because the conditions were calm and the time was long. The most beautiful rooms on earth may be ones that formed and will remain in perfect darkness, asking nothing of anyone. The conditions a great crystal needs are almost tender in their exactness. The water must stay still. The temperature must barely move. The supply of mineral must remain gentle and steady. Disturb any of it, even slightly, and the perfect growth falters. A giant crystal is, in a sense, a record of an extraordinarily long stretch of time in which nothing went wrong at all. There is a quiet kinship between the crystal and the stalactite. Both are built slowly in the dark, by patient water leaving something behind. One leaves soft, layered stone. The other leaves perfect, ordered crystal. The difference is only in the stillness. The more perfectly calm the water, the more perfectly the structure forms. To imagine those chambers is deeply calming. Vast, clear beams of mineral resting across the dark, grown over a span longer than our species is old in water so still it might as well have been holding its breath, beautiful for no reason, seen by no one, perfectly at peace in the deep. Let that be a soft image to hold as you settle. Somewhere right now in the dark, a crystal is growing so slowly that nothing about it will look any different in 1,000 years. We drift on gently from the still crystal chambers toward the moving water that carved this whole world. The water that dissolved these caves never really left. It is still here, moving gently through the dark, seeping along the walls, gathering into trickles, joining into streams, and in the great systems flowing as true underground rivers, running quietly through the stone where no daylight has ever touched them. An underground river is a strange and peaceful thing. It has no sky above it, no banks of grass, no sunlight on its surface, only stone, close and dark on every side. It rises from a spring somewhere in the rock, runs its hidden course through the silence, and emerges, sometimes far away, back into the light. Where the passage dips below the water entirely, the river fills it completely, wall to wall, in a flooded tunnel called a sump. Beyond the sump, the cave often continues, dry again on the far side. These flooded passages are some of the quietest, stillest, most untouched places anywhere in the world. In the calmer chambers, the water gathers into pools and lakes, and they are unlike any water above ground. With no light, there are no plants and no algae, and with no weather, there is nothing to stir up sediment. The water becomes astonishingly, perfectly clear, so still and so transparent that it can be almost invisible. Light brought into such a pool sinks into it and glows a deep, pure blue or green, lit from within, perfectly motionless. These hidden lakes can be many meters deep and so clear that the bottom seems close enough to touch. They have rested there, calm and unmoving in the dark for a very long time. This quiet water is the lifeblood of the cave. It is still slowly dissolving the stone, still building the slow formations, still carrying the faint traces of food that the gentle creatures of the dark depend on. The whole underground world is shaped, fed, and sustained by this soft, patient, unhurried water. And the water keeps its own slow time. Some of it fell as rain on the surface only weeks ago. Some has been working its way down through the rock for many years. In the deepest reaches, the water has been underground, in the dark, longer than anyone alive has been waiting for anything. Sometimes the underground river falls. Where a passage drops, the water gathers and pours over the edge in a quiet cascade, hidden in the dark, and its soft, steady voice carries far down the silent galleries. An underground waterfall is one of the few moving, sounding things in the deep, gentle, constant, and strangely soothing in all that stillness. Where the river rises again far away, it returns to the world as a spring, clear, cool, and steady, welling up from the stone as if the ground itself were quietly breathing out water. Many gentle springs that feed surface rivers begin this way, with a long, slow, hidden journey through the dark that no one ever sees. The water also keeps the cave's slow time. Some of it fell as rain only weeks ago. Some has been working its way down through the rock for years. The deeper, stiller water may have been underground, untouched and unmoving, for a very long time, a calm, ancient water holding the dark in no hurry to leave. And the water sculpts as it rests. Slow eddies scallop the stone into soft, repeating patterns. Drips dimple the floor. A pool's quiet edge leaves a faint shelf on the wall, marking exactly where the calm water once stood. Even at its stillest, the water is gently, endlessly, shaping the cave around it. A still cave pool can be almost impossible to see. With no ripple, no glare, no floating dust, and no light to reflect, its surface vanishes, and the water and the air become a single seamless calm. People have reached out toward what looked like dry stone and found their fingers slipping gently into water perfectly clear and perfectly still. These pools are also exquisitely sensitive. A single drop falling into one sends a slow ring spreading gently across the whole still surface, the only motion in the chamber fading softly back to perfect calm. In a place where almost nothing moves, even one quiet ripple feels like a slow, gentle breath. And the water connects the whole hidden world. The pool here is quietly linked, through cracks and flooded passages, to others far away in the dark, all part of one slow body of water threading through the stone. The underground is not a set of separate rooms, it is gently a single connected calm. There is something deeply calming in still, clear, dark water. No waves, no current you can feel, no glare, just a perfectly smooth surface in a perfectly quiet room, holding the dark, waiting, going nowhere in any hurry. Let that stillness settle over you as we drift on gently to meet the life that lives here. It would be easy to think nothing could live in a world this dark and this still, but the caves are gently alive. In the streams and pools and on the damp stone live creatures found nowhere else on earth. Soft, pale, patient animals that have made the eternal dark their only home for millions of years. Animals that live their whole lives in the dark zone slowly change. Over countless generations, in a world where eyes are useless, they often lose their eyes entirely and lose their color too, becoming soft and pale and translucent. They are not damaged by this. They are simply gently shaped by the dark. There are blind cave fish that drift slowly through still black pools, pale as milk, finding their way and their food entirely by gentle touch and the faintest movement of the water. They have no eyes at all, and in their world they have no need of them. They move with a calm, slow, unhurried grace. And there is the olm, perhaps the gentlest creature of the underground, a pale, slender, blind cave salamander with feathery, rose-colored gills, living in the dark waters of deep limestone caves. People once thought these soft creatures were baby dragons washed out of the underworld by floods. The olm lives at a pace that is hard to believe. It can live for many decades, perhaps even a century, in the cool, dark water. It can go for years without eating. It moves rarely and slowly, and may rest almost perfectly still in the same quiet spot for years at a time, simply waiting calm and unhurried. Around them live many other gentle, eyeless things. Pale cave shrimp drifting in clear pools, slender white cave spiders, soft translucent insects, tiny creatures that have never known a single ray of light. None of them are in any hurry. In a world with little food, slowness is not weakness, it is how they endure. These animals live long, slow, economical lives. With so little energy available in the dark, they grow slowly, move rarely, and last a remarkably long time. Patience here is not a virtue they choose, it is simply what life in the gentle dark has quietly become. Why lose the eyes at all? Building and running eyes costs an animal energy, and in a world of total darkness, eyes return nothing for that cost. Over many slow generations, the creatures that spent less on sight and more on touch and smell and patience did gently better. The dark did not take their eyes cruelly, it simply slowly no longer asked for them. In place of eyes, they grew other gifts, long, fine feelers that read the faintest stir in the water, skin that senses gentle pressure and movement all around, a patient sense of smell that maps the dark. They do not move through their world blindly at all. They move through it by touch and scent calmly, with quiet confidence. Their lives run on almost nothing. With food so scarce, these animals have slowed their whole bodies down, beating slowly, growing slowly, needing astonishingly little. Some can survive months, even years, between meals, simply waiting gently in the cool dark, spending as little as a living thing possibly can. And they are wonderfully old as lineages go. Many cave species are the slow descendants of surface animals that wandered into the dark long ago and never left, while their relatives outside changed or vanished. The pale creature in the still pool is, in a sense, a quiet survivor from a much older world, kept gently safe in the dark. Watch the Olem a moment longer, gently in your mind. It hangs almost weightless in the cool dark water, pale and still, its feathery gills the softest blush of rose. It may not move for days. It is not waiting for anything in particular. It is simply calmly being at perfect rest in the only world it has ever known. These animals show how gently life can fit itself to a place. Given enough time, the dark did not defeat them. It shaped them softly into exactly what a life of stillness and scarcity needs. No wasted sight, no wasted motion, no wasted hunger. They are not struggling in the dark. They are perfectly, quietly suited to it. And there is a soft dignity in their slowness. In the bright world above, slowness can look like failure. Down here it is mastery, the deep skill of needing little, wanting little, and lasting long. The gentle creatures of the dark have made an art of the very calm we are trying to find tonight. There is a deep calm in their existence. No light, no seasons, no rush, no change, just cool, still water, soft, dark stone, and a long, slow, patient life lived gently in the quiet. Carry that gentleness with you as we drift on to ask the quiet question, in a world with no sunlight, what do they eat? In the sunlit world, almost all food begins with light. Plants quietly turning sunshine into life, but underground there is no light, and so there are no plants. And the whole gentle question of the cave becomes, where does the energy come from? How does a world with no sun feed itself in the dark? Most of the answer drifts in, gently, from outside. When rain swells the underground streams, the water carries fine scraps of the surface world down into the dark, soft fragments of leaves, traces of soil, faint specks of life. It is not much, but it arrives steadily, and the patient creatures of the dark live slowly on this quiet delivery. In caves where bats roost, there is a richer gift. Bats fly out into the night to feed under the sky and return to rest in the dark, and what falls beneath them, gathered over centuries, becomes deep, soft mounds of guano that feed an entire quiet ecosystem of gentle creatures, all of it resting in the end on the bat's nightly journeys. But in a few extraordinary caves, the energy comes from the stone and water themselves. Deep in certain sealed caves, the water is rich in sulfur or other minerals, and tiny microbes there make food not from sunlight but from chemistry, drawing energy straight from the rock-borne water in the total dark. There is a famous cave in Romania, sealed away from the surface for millions of years, where an entire small living world runs this way. Every creature in it ultimately fed by microbes living on chemistry in the dark, with no sunlight reaching the system at all. It is a complete quiet world, lit by no sun and needing none. These chemical caves are a profound, gentle reminder. Life does not strictly need the sun. Given only water, stone, and time in perfect darkness and perfect stillness, life can quietly find a way to begin and to last, calm, slow, and complete, in a place the light has never reached. So the dark is fed in three quiet ways: by what the water carries in, by the gentle journeys of the bats, and in rare sealed places by the slow chemistry of the stone itself. None of it is fast, all of it is patient, and it is, gently, always enough. The bat caves are quiet engines of life. By day the bats hang still and calm in the dark, resting in their thousands. By night they pour out to feed beneath the stars and return before dawn. Everything they bring back, gathered slowly over centuries, feeds a whole gentle community below them: beetles, soft pale insects, fungi, an entire small world built quietly on the bat's nightly flight. The chemical caves are stranger and even more gentle. In a sealed cave fed by sulfur-rich water, fine films of microbes coat the wet stone, drawing their energy straight from the chemistry of the water. Soft, pale mats of life grow in absolute darkness, and on them slowly a whole quiet ecosystem rests, complete, sealed, and entirely without the sun. In one such sealed Romanian cave, the air itself is different, and the small world inside has been cut off from the surface for millions of years, its creatures slowly becoming entirely their own, found nowhere else on earth, living gently in a darkness that has never once known a season or a sunrise. These places quietly widen what we thought life needed. Not sunlight, not warmth, not abundance, only energy in some form, water and time. Given those, life settles even into sealed darkness and stays, calm and complete for ages. The dark is not empty of life. It is simply life, lived very gently on very little. There is a quiet economy to all of it. Almost nothing is wasted in the dark. What one creature cannot use, another slowly does. What falls is gathered. What dies is gently returned. With so little coming in, the cave has learned over ages to let almost nothing go, a calm, patient thrift that keeps the whole dark world alive on very little. This changes how we picture the deep. It is tempting to imagine the cave as barren, but barren is the wrong word. It is not empty, it is spare. Everything it needs is here, just in small, slow, sufficient amounts. Spareness, it turns out, is not the same as lack. It can be its own kind of quiet plenty. And the chemical caves leave one last gentle thought. Life does not strictly require the sun, only energy, water, and time in some patient form. Knowing that, the dark feels less like an absence and more like simply another way the living world can be, quieter, slower, and entirely at peace with itself. It is restful to think how little this world needs to keep going. No sun, no abundance, no hurry, only a slow, steady, gentle trickle of energy into the dark, and creatures patient enough to live on it. Let us drift on, now from the limestone dark to caves made not by acid and water, but by fire and by ice. Not every cave is dissolved slowly from limestone. Some are born of fire, made in hours instead of ages. When a river of lava flows from a volcano, its surface cools and hardens into a crust, while the molten rock beneath keeps flowing. When the flow finally drains away, it leaves a long hollow tube behind it, deep in the dark. These lava tubes are strange and beautiful in their own quiet way. Their walls are smooth and glassy, sometimes rippled like frozen flow, often colored in soft reds and bronzes by the minerals in the cooled rock. Long after the fire is gone, they remain calm, silent tunnels, as still and dark as any cave. Other caves are made of ice. Within glaciers, meltwater carves winding tunnels and chambers down through the ice itself, and the walls glow a deep, pure, impossible blue, lit softly by the daylight filtering through meters of glacier above. These ice caves are among the most beautiful spaces on Earth. But ice caves are gentle and fleeting, because the ice always moves, always melts, always reforms. No glacier cave lasts long. A blue chamber that exists one winter may be gone the next, replaced by another somewhere else. They are the most temporary of caves, quiet, brief, and ever-changing. Along the coasts, the sea makes caves of its own. Wave after wave, for thousands of years, the water works at a weakness in a sea cliff, slowly hollowing out a dark chamber at the waterline. Inside, the sea breathes gently in and out, and the light from the entrance glows a soft, shifting blue-green on the walls. And there are quieter, rarer kinds still. Caves open gently along cracks as the ground slowly shifts, hollows left where softer rock has gently weathered away. The earth, it turns out, makes hidden spaces in many ways, patiently, almost everywhere, in fire and ice and stone and sea alike. Different as they are, all these caves share the same gift. Once you are inside, away from the entrance, they all become the same calm dark, sheltered quiet. Fireborn or iceborn or seaborn, the deep of every cave is still and silent and gently the same. Lava tubes can be vast, because a whole river of molten rock once flowed through them. Some are wide enough and tall enough to feel like great underground roads, running straight and smooth for kilometers beneath a quiet volcanic landscape. Long cooled, they are now simply calm, dark, silent halls, fire's old pathways gone perfectly still. In ice caves, the walls keep a record too. The blue is deepest where the ice is oldest and most compressed, the air long ago pressed out of it. To drift through a glacier cave is to move through ice that may have fallen as snow centuries ago, now glowing softly, slowly making its way down toward the sea. Sea caves keep the ocean's slow rhythm. Deep in one, far from the entrance, the water rises and falls gently with the swell outside, and a soft, even breathing of air moves with it. The cave quietly inhaling and exhaling with the calm patience of the sea, hour after hour, year after year. Each kind of cave keeps its own gentle clock. The lava tube cooled in hours, the ice cave lasting a season, the sea cave breathing with the tide, the limestone cave growing across ages, different rhythms but the same deep calm waiting inside them all, the moment you are past the light. There is a gentle lesson in how differently these caves are born. One is made by fire in an afternoon, one by ice in a season, one by waves over centuries, one by faint acid over ages. The earth, it seems, makes hidden quiet spaces in every way it can, patiently, almost everywhere, as if stillness in the dark were something the planet naturally tends toward. And yet, however they begin, they end the same. Walk far enough into any of them and the differences fall away. The lava tube, the ice cave, the sea cave, the limestone hall, past the entrance they all become simply this: cool, dark, sheltered, still. The deep calm is not a property of one kind of cave, it is what caves in the end are. It is a soothing thought to drift with, that beneath every kind of landscape, made in every kind of way, the earth holds these pockets of identical calm. Wherever there is rock, there is, somewhere near, the same patient dark, waiting quietly, asking nothing, exactly as restful as the one we are in now. Let that shared stillness hold you as we turn back gently toward the great limestone systems and downward now toward the very deepest places the underground reaches kilometers below the light. We have drifted down a long way already, but the underground reaches far deeper than this, down past 1 kilometer, past 2, into the very deepest natural spaces the surface world connects to. To go there is one of the slowest, quietest journeys anywhere on Earth. The deepest known caves lie beneath a remote limestone mountain range near the Black Sea. There, in a massif of pale stone, passages plunge down through the rock for more than 2 kilometers of vertical depth, the deepest places on the planet that open, however faintly, to the surface above. To reach the bottom is not a quick descent. It is a slow expedition lasting many days or even weeks, a patient, careful downward journey through shaft after shaft, chamber after chamber, deeper and deeper into the dark, sleeping in quiet camps far below the world, then going on gently down. With every kilometer down, the world above grows more distant and more abstract. There is no signal from it, no light from it, no sound of it. There is only the next pitch of dark stone, the next still chamber, the soft sound of water, and the calm, even unchanging cool of rock that has never felt the sun. And still, at those great depths, the cave is gently alive. Pale, eyeless creatures live in the deepest pools, kilometers down, as calm and patient there as anywhere nearer the surface. Life has quietly reached almost as deep as the caves themselves go, soft, slow, and entirely at home in the profound dark. It is hard to truly picture 2 kilometers of solid stone overhead, but the feeling of those deepest places is not crushing. By every account, it is the opposite. It is profoundly calm, utterly silent, perfectly still, far below every storm and every sound, in the deepest quiet there is. Even these deepest known caves are almost certainly not the limit. Beyond the deepest shaft we have reached, the passages often continue, narrowing into water, going on into stone we have never entered. The true bottom of the underground is still quietly unknown. Depth in a cave is measured gently, drop by drop of descent, from the highest entrance down to the lowest point reached, shaft by shaft. The deepest known caves plunge more than 2 kilometers down by that measure. A vertical distance greater than the tallest mountains are tall, folded entirely into the dark, beneath a single quiet range of hills. The descent goes in slow stages. A deep cave is not one long drop, but a patient sequence, a shaft, then a passage, then another shaft, then a chamber, easing downward, level by level. Far below the surface, explorers rest in small quiet camps in the dark, sleeping in the perfect stillness, then continuing gently deeper the next day. At those depths, the cave is profoundly settled. The temperature holds perfectly even. The air barely moves. The silence is total but for distant water. 2 kilometers of solid stone lie between that calm and every storm and sound of the surface, and the result, by every account, is not dread but a deep enveloping peace. And even there, the bottom is rarely the end. Below the deepest point reached, the cave usually goes on into water, into stone too tight to pass, into dark no one has entered. The true floor of the underground stays, gently unknown, waiting in a silence that has never once been broken. Picture the slow rhythm of such a descent. Down a shaft, then rest. Through a passage, then rest. Down again, deeper, then rest. It is not a plunge, but a long, patient, gentle lowering, with quiet pauses in still chambers along the way, the unhurried tempo of a place that has never once been in a hurry itself. And the deeper it goes, the more completely the surface releases its hold. No sound of weather, no sense of day or night, no signal from above of any kind, just stone and stillness and the soft voice of distant water, the world above growing, not frightening but simply, gently irrelevant. There is a strange peace in being that far from everything. 2 kilometers of solid stone is not a weight pressing down. It is a vast, quiet insulation, sealing out every storm and every noise and every demand, leaving only the deepest calm there is. Few places on earth are so completely, gently undisturbed. Let the sheer depth of it settle you rather than unsettle you. Far below where you rest tonight, beneath landscapes and mountains, there are silent chambers 2 kilometers down in the dark that have been perfectly calm for an unimaginably long time and will stay that calm long after this night is over. Caves are not only deep, some are vast in another way, not down but outward, spreading through the rock as immense three-dimensional labyrinths of passage upon passage, level upon level, winding gently through the stone for hundreds of kilometers in the dark. The longest known cave system lies beneath the quiet hills of Kentucky. It is a single connected maze with more than 680 kilometers of mapped passage, far enough that laid in a line it would cross whole countries, and it is all folded gently into the dark beneath an ordinary green landscape. Such a system is not one tunnel, but a whole world of them, wide trunk passages, narrow crawlways, tall canyons, round tubes, great chambers, all braided together on many levels, connected by slow water over millions of years into one continuous, gentle, silent maze. These great systems grow on our maps, very slowly and patiently. Explorers map them meter by meter, year after year, and sometimes find that 2 separate caves are quietly joined deep in the rock, and suddenly, on paper, they become one even greater labyrinth. The longest caves are still gently getting longer. And every great system has its edges of the unknown. Passages narrow into rubble, or dip into flooded sumps, or simply continue past the last place anyone has been. Beyond those points, the maze goes on in the dark, unmapped and unseen, exactly as calm as the parts we know. No one has ever seen a whole great cave system. It is too large, too branched, too far. Even the longest explored caves are known only in pieces, drifted through one quiet passage at a time. The complete shape of the underground is something no single mind has ever held. There is a gentle, restful humility in that. Beneath quiet, ordinary country, there are mazes of silent passage longer than journeys, almost all of it never seen, asking nothing, simply being there in the calm dark, vast beyond knowing and perfectly at peace with not being known. These mazes are quietly three-dimensional. They do not spread on a single floor like streets, but stack and weave on many levels at once, a passage here running gently above another there, linked by slow shafts, folded through the rock like a vast, soft tangle of thread. No simple picture can hold them. They are gently, beautifully complex. And they took an immensity of time to form. A 600-kilometer maze is the work of water and stone across many millions of years, passages opening, draining, refilling, connecting level by level as the land slowly rose and the water slowly found new ways down. The labyrinth is a slow drawing made by patience itself. To drift through even a little of such a system is enough. There is no need to grasp the whole. The maze does not ask to be understood, it only asks gently to be moved through, one calm passage at a time, exactly as we are doing now, while the rest of it rests, vast and quiet in the dark all around. Let that vastness be soothing rather than dizzying. There is no need to map it, or hold it, or understand all of it, only to drift gently through one quiet passage of it tonight as we are, while the rest of the great maze rests calmly in the dark around us. And in that dark, the cave is also keeping something, time itself. Because the deep cave never changes, no weather, no light, no seasons, no haste. It is one of the finest keepers of the past anywhere on earth. The dark does not erase, it gently holds, and nothing holds the record of time more quietly than the slow stone itself. Cut gently through a stalagmite, and you find it is layered like the rings of a tree, fine bands laid down season by season, year by year, by the slow drip that built it. Each layer is a page. A single stalagmite, finger to forearm in size, can hold a calm, unbroken record of 100,000 years. And the layers remember more than time. Locked in the stone is a faint chemical trace of the world above, as each layer formed how warm it was, how much rain fell, how the climate breathed across the ages. A quiet stalagmite growing in the dark is secretly writing down the weather of the surface, century by century. From such stone, read carefully, we can trace ancient ice ages and warm spells, long droughts and long rains, going back far beyond any written history, a calm climate diary kept by water and rock in the dark, while the surface forgot everything over and over again. Caves keep other things too. Their still dry air and steady cool preserve bones for tens of thousands of years, the remains of long vanished animals, gently held where they came to rest. Whole lost worlds of creatures are known mostly because a cave somewhere quietly kept them safe in the dark. Even the air can be archived. Tiny bubbles and traces sealed into cave stone hold faint samples of ancient atmospheres. The cave, without trying, has been collecting the breath of the past for as long as it has been growing, and holding it perfectly still in the dark. There is something deeply moving in this gentle keeping. While the busy surface erased and rebuilt itself 1,000 times, the quiet dark below simply held on to the weather, to the bones, to the air, to time itself, patiently, faithfully, asking nothing for age after age. To read a stalagmite's record, it is gently cut and polished, and its fine layers are studied one by one. Faint chemical signatures in each band reveal the temperature and rainfall of the year it formed, and tiny natural traces within the stone give each layer a calm, reliable age. A single slow formation becomes a clear, quiet climate diary, thousands of bands deep. These quiet diaries reach far back. From cave stone, scientists have traced ancient monsoons strengthening and fading, long droughts settling over old civilizations, ice ages tightening and releasing their grip, all of it recorded gently in the dark by water and stone, while the surface above forgot it again and again. Caves keep the living past as well. Their cool, still sheltered air has preserved the bones of long-vanished animals for tens of thousands of years, creatures that sheltered in a cave or fell into one and were gently kept by the dark long after their whole world had passed away. Even pollen and dust are archived here, sealed into the slow stone, faint records of the forests and grasses that grew above, age after age. The cave, without any intention at all, has been quietly keeping a complete account of the changing world above it, simply by being still enough to lose nothing. There is a gentle wonder in the idea of a stone that writes, "No one designed the stalagmite to keep records. It simply grew, drop by drop, and the world above quietly pressed its weather into each layer as it formed." The cave became a library by accident, patient, faithful, and entirely unaware of the long story it was keeping. And these records reach almost unimaginably far. Some cave stone has been growing, layer on faint layer, for hundreds of thousands of years without a single break, a continuous, unbroken account of the climate, far longer than any memory, any story, any history we have. The dark has been keeping the diary of the world since long before there was anyone to read it. It is strangely comforting that so much was saved by simple stillness, not by effort, not by intention, only by a place quiet enough and patient enough to let nothing be lost. The cave teaches a gentle thing, that holding still and holding on faithfully across a long time is itself a kind of quiet care. And among all the things the dark has kept so gently, there is one that touches us most directly of all. For in the deep quiet of certain caves, our own distant ancestors left something behind, and the dark has held it untouched ever since. Deep inside certain caves, far past the entrance, in chambers reached only through long dark passages, there are walls that are gently painted, horses, lions, bison, deer, and the soft outlines of human hands made by our ancestors by quiet lamplight tens of thousands of years ago. Some of these paintings are extraordinarily old. In one French cave, the images were made around 36,000 years ago, so long ago that the span between the artists and us is far greater than the span of all recorded history, and yet the animals on the wall are still calm, still graceful, still clear. They have lasted only because of the cave. In the open air, paintings this old would have vanished in a single season, but sealed in the deep dark, no sun, no wind, no weather, no change. They were held gently, exactly as they were left, for 300 centuries of perfect stillness. Picture gently the people who made them. They went far into the dark, deliberately carrying small soft flames into chambers as silent then as they are now. They reached up to the bare stone, and in that deep quiet drew the animals they knew. Then they left, and the dark kept their work safe. Sometimes they left only a hand. They pressed a palm to the cool stone and blew soft pigment around it, leaving a gentle outline, a quiet print of a hand, 30,000 years old, still open on the wall in the dark. It is one of the gentlest, most human things anywhere on earth. The same stillness that grew the crystals and kept the climate diary also kept these. The cave makes no distinction. It simply holds with perfect patience whatever the dark receives: a layer of stone, a fallen bone, a painted horse, a child's hand, all of it equally for as long as the dark lasts. There is a deep, quiet tenderness in that thought. Across an almost unimaginable gulf of time, the gentle dark connected those people to us, kept their calm, lamplit work waiting, untouched, until eyes could find it again. The cave remembered them when everything above had long forgotten. Look gently at how they painted. They used the cave itself. A swell in the rock became the shoulder of a bison. A hollow became the curve of a back. By soft moving lamplight, the animals would have seemed to shift on the living stone. They were not decorating a wall, they were drawing carefully with the shape of the dark. Some of these galleries lie very deep, reached only through long, narrow, difficult passages. To leave a mark so far inside took real effort and real intention. Whatever it meant to them, it mattered enough to carry small flames a long way into the dark, and the dark in return kept it perfectly. And it was not only painting. In one deep cave, far from any entrance, early people once arranged broken stone into careful rings, for reasons no one will ever know, and the still dark kept even that untouched. Across an almost unimaginable gulf of time, a quiet gesture preserved long after its meaning was lost. Standing before such marks, people often fall quiet. Across an immense distance of time, something simple reaches gently through: a hand, a steady gaze, the wish to leave a mark in a calm place. The dark did not judge it or change it. It simply held it patiently until we could meet it again. Imagine the quiet of the moment they worked. No sound but a soft flame and a held breath. The animals taking shape slowly on the stone by a small wavering light. Then the light withdrawing and the dark closing back over the work, gently, completely, and staying that way unbroken for 300 centuries. It is humbling how little has changed about us across that gulf. The wish to make a mark, to leave a trace, to say quietly, "I was here." It is the same wish we still have. Across 30,000 years of dark, that gentle, familiar human impulse reaches out from the stone and touches us, almost unchanged. And it was the dark that made the meeting possible. Only because the cave held so perfectly still, lost nothing, and changed nothing, could that quiet gesture survive to be met again. The patient dark did not just keep stone and bone and weather, it kept gently a piece of us. Let that gentle continuity rest with you, a hand on cool stone in the dark, held safe across 30,000 quiet years. We drift on now deeper into the silence itself, to the profound quiet that makes all of this keeping possible. We have spoken of the dark of the deep cave. Now let us rest gently in its silence, because the silence of the underground is as profound as its darkness, and just as calming. Beyond the entrance, away from any stream, a deep cave is one of the quietest places anywhere on the whole of the earth. On the surface there is always sound, wind, distant voices, the hum of the living world. Even at the calmest hour, we have almost never heard true silence. In the deep dark zone there is no wind to make a sound, no weather, nothing moving at all. The quiet there is not relative, it is nearly complete. Into that silence comes only one gentle sound: water. the slow, soft, patient drip from a stone tip falling, and then, after a long, calm pause, falling again. In the great hush of the cave, that single repeating drop is not a disturbance. It is the quiet, steady heartbeat of the dark. In the great chambers, that drip can ring softly and roll away into the dark, fading slowly for a long, gentle moment. In the small passages, the stone drinks every sound at once, and the quiet closes back in immediately, soft and total. Either way, between the drops, there is a stillness deeper than almost anywhere. In darkness this complete and silence this deep, the senses slowly grow calm. With nothing to see and almost nothing to hear, the restless searching of the mind has nowhere to go, and it begins gently to settle, the way the still air of the cave settles, until everything is quiet inside and out. This is why the deep cave has always felt restful to us. It removes gently almost everything the mind normally has to attend to. No light to track, no sound to follow, no weather, no time, no change. Only cool, still, dark calm, and the slow, soft, patient drip marking the quiet. Let your own listening grow that quiet now, not straining to hear anything, simply letting the sound fall away, the way it falls away in the deep cave, until there is only the soft, imagined drip, and the long, gentle pauses between, and the calm, complete, restful dark all around it. In a great chamber, a single soft sound can linger. It rolls gently outward, touches the far walls, and returns fainter again and again, fading slowly into nothing over a long, calm moment. People who have heard their own quiet voice do this in a vast cave often describe it not as eerie but as strangely soothing sound itself, slowing down and letting go. In the narrow passages, it is the opposite. The close stone drinks every sound the instant it is made, and the quiet snaps back, soft and immediate and total. There is no ring, no echo, nothing, only a hush so complete it seems to have a gentle weight of its own, pressing softly and kindly inward. In darkness and silence, this complete, people often report that time itself softens with nothing to see and nothing to hear. The mind loosens its grip on minutes and hours. An hour and a moment begin to feel the same. It is one of the few places on earth where the relentless sense of passing time simply gently lets go. This is the deep gift of the cave to a tired mind. It quietly removes nearly everything the senses normally have to track: light, sound, weather, time, and leaves only cool, still, calm, dark. With so little to hold, the mind has little choice but to do what the cave has always done: settle and rest. There is a particular quality to cave silence that open silence never has. Outdoors, even at the stillest hour, the air carries the faintest texture of distant sound. In the deep cave between the drops, that texture is simply gone. The quiet is not thin and waiting. It is full and deep and complete, like a soft weight resting kindly on everything. People who sit in it often say the same gentle thing, that after a while the silence stops feeling like an absence and starts feeling like a presence. Something calm and patient and old, simply there with you in the dark, asking nothing, the quiet itself keeping you gentle company. And the mind, given so little, slowly grows as quiet as the room. With no light to follow and no sound to chase, the restless inner noise has nothing to feed on, and it settles gently of its own accord, the way silt settles out of still water, until everything is clear and calm and at rest. In that silence, the underground keeps its long calm, almost unknown, almost unentered, and that brings us gently to the quiet people who do go in, slowly and carefully, into the dark we are resting in now. Almost everything we know of this hidden world has been learned the slow way, by patient people drifting gently into the dark, one careful passage at a time, and quietly bringing back the map. The study of caves is one of the most unhurried, most patient kinds of exploration there is. It is slow by necessity. There are no quick ways through a cave. You move at the pace the passage allows, easing through narrow places, around still pools, down quiet shafts, measuring as you go gently, meter by meter, turning the dark very slowly into knowledge. And there is always more. New passages are found behind old ones. Separate caves are discovered to join, deep in the rock. Whole great systems are still being slowly traced, year after patient year. The map of the underground is never finished. It only grows gently at the pace of patience. And much of it has no door at all. Countless caves connect to the surface only through cracks too small to enter, or through flooded passages, or not at all. Beneath our feet there are surely vast systems, complete and silent, that no one has ever entered and perhaps never will. This makes the underground one of the last great unknown places on Earth. We have mapped the continents and the ocean floor from above, but the inside of the planet's crust, this hollow, silent world, remains one of the few frontiers we still explore the old way, slowly, gently, in person, in the dark. There is a quiet humility in it. After all our maps and instruments, there is still a huge, silent world directly beneath us that we have barely entered, patient, dark, and mostly unknown, not because it is hidden cleverly, but simply because it is so vast and so calm and so deep. And there is something restful in unknown places that ask nothing of us. The unmapped dark is not a problem to be solved tonight. It is simply there, calm and patient, going gently about its slow stone work, whether anyone ever maps it or not. It does not need to be known to be at peace. The mapping itself is a patient art, point by point measuring distance and direction, and the rise and fall of the floor. Explorers slowly turn the dark into a fine line drawing, a quiet thread through the stone. Stitched together over years, those threads become the maps of the great systems, each one drawn entirely by hand, in the dark, the slow way. Much of what is learned comes simply from being there gently and carefully, watching where the soft air moves, which way a faint draft drifts, where the water goes. A breath of cool air from a crack can mean a great unentered space beyond it. The cave is read patiently, like a quiet language, by those willing to listen. New discoveries are usually quiet ones, not a sudden vast hall, but a small draft followed patiently, a tight passage eased through, and then gently more cave beyond, dark and still and never before entered. Most of the underground has been revealed this way, slowly, modestly, one calm passage at a time. And vastly more remains than has ever been found. By every estimate, the caves we know are a small fraction of the caves that exist, most of them sealed forever within the rock. The underground keeps the greater part of itself, quietly, to itself, and there is a deep peace in a world so content to remain unseen. There is a gentle patience in this kind of exploration that nothing can hurry. You cannot rush a cave. It gives up its passages only at the pace they allow in the order they choose. The people who learn it best are the ones who make peace with slowness, content to gain a little ground gently and let the rest wait in the dark. And what they find mostly is more quiet. Not treasure, not spectacle, just another calm passage, another still chamber, another stretch of patient dark that no one had seen and that was perfectly at peace whether anyone saw it or not. The reward of the deep is gently, simply more of its calm. It is restful to remember how much remains gently unknown. After everything we have mapped of the world, this vast, quiet realm beneath us is still mostly unentered, not hiding, not waiting to be conquered, just there calm and patient and content, keeping the larger part of itself peacefully to itself. Let that gentle not knowing be restful too. We have drifted a long way into this hidden world together. Now, before we let the dark hold us fully, let us gather it gently in mind, the whole calm, patient underground, one last quiet time. We have come a long, slow way down, past the doorway in the ground, through the fading twilight, into the total dark, past the slow spires and the giant crystals, along the still black water, among the gentle eyeless creatures, down toward the deepest silent shafts. Let us rest here now, at the bottom of the journey in the calm. Hold the whole of it gently in mind, the way you might hold a single quiet thought. Above you layer upon layer of patient stone, around you silent passages spreading for hundreds of kilometers, below shafts dropping kilometers into the dark, and through all of it one calm, cool, unchanging, gentle stillness. Everything down here moves slowly, or not at all. The drop gathers and falls. The crystal adds one atom. The stalagmite rises a hair's width in a lifetime. The blind fish drifts gently across a still pool. Nothing hurries, nothing is late. The underground has all the time there is, and it uses it gently. And it has been this calm for an immensely long time. These chambers were silent and dark, and still long before there were people, and they will be silent and dark and still long after this night, and every night has passed. The cave does not wait for anything. It simply, gently is. There is deep rest in that, whatever the day above held, it is very small and very far away here. The patient dark does not know about it, and is not troubled by it. It holds its calm regardless, the way it has held its calm through every storm and every age, without effort, without end. Let the underground hold you the way it holds everything else, gently, completely, without asking anything. You do not have to do anything here. You do not have to know the way, or keep the time, or stay awake. The dark is patient. It will keep its calm whether you're watching or not. So let the last of the day fall away, the way the daylight fell away behind us at the entrance, long ago now. Let your breath slow to the pace of the drip. Let your body settle like still water in a deep, dark pool, perfectly calm, going nowhere, in no hurry at all. There is nothing more to reach tonight. We are as deep as we need to go. All around you is the calm, patient, silent dark, holding its quiet as gently as it has for 100,000 years. Stay here in it as long as you like. It is in no hurry for you to leave. Let the slowness of it all be the slowness of your breath now. The drop gathers and falls, and a long calm pause follows before the next. Let your breathing find that gentle, unhurried rhythm in, and a soft pause and out the slow, patient tempo of the dark, with nowhere to be and nothing to reach. And let the stillness of the deep water be the stillness of your body. A pool in the dark zone holds perfectly calm, perfectly level, going nowhere, reflecting nothing, simply at rest in the stone. Let your body settle exactly like that, smooth, quiet, unmoving, held gently by the dark. There is nothing down here that needs you, and nothing here you need to do. The drops will fall whether you count them or not. The crystals will grow whether you watch or not. The dark will keep its calm whether you stay awake or not. You are free, completely, to simply rest and let it all continue gently without you. So let the surface go now, all of it, the way the daylight went at the entrance long ago in this journey. There is no way back up that you need to find tonight, and no hurry to find it. There is only the deep, calm, patient dark, holding you as gently as it has held everything else, for as long as you need. Gather the whole journey gently, one last time, the way you might hold a smooth stone in your hand, the doorway in the hillside, the fading twilight, the total dark, the slow spires and the giant crystals, the still black water and the pale, patient creatures, the deepest shafts, the longest mazes, the painted galleries, the complete and gentle silence. All of it, calm, beneath us right now. And notice the single thread through all of it: patience, the patient acid, the patient drop, the patient crystal, the patient creature, the patient dark, keeping its calm across 100,000 years. The underground has only ever done one thing. Gently it has waited without strain and let time do the rest. Let that be the last thought you carry down with you, that there is a place, real and near, where nothing is hurried and nothing is ever late, where stillness is not waiting for anything and the dark is perfectly at peace. You do not have to travel to it, you only have to let your mind rest there gently, as it already is. Drift, now the way the slow water drifts through the stone, gently, without effort, downward into rest. The patient dark has you, it always did. Let it carry you softly the rest of the way into sleep. Thank you for spending this hour with us. If this video helped you find rest, please subscribe. It is what allows us to keep producing long nights like this one, slow visits through the deep, quiet world beneath the ground, voiced gently and meant for sleep. The slow journey we have taken tonight, gently downward through the hidden world beneath the ground, has reached its quiet end. There is nothing you need to keep from it. The names and the numbers can drift away into the dark. What remains is only the soft shape of it, a vast, ancient, silent world below us, calm and patient and unhurried, holding its stillness gently, asking nothing at all. The journey was slow on purpose. The underground itself is slow. The drop is slow. The crystal is slow. The water is slow. Whatever you followed and whatever you drifted past, all of it is exactly right. The dark has been holding the journey for you the whole way down. As we close, let the bed hold you the way the deep stone holds the silence, completely, gently, without effort. Let your breath go on by itself, slow and even, the way the drip goes on in the dark. The quiet work of the night, like the quiet work of the cave, is being done without your help. Tonight, beneath countless quiet landscapes, the caves are exactly as we left them. The slow drops are still falling in the dark. The still pools are still and black and perfectly calm. The pale, blind creatures are resting gently in the deep water. None of it is in any hurry, and none of it ever will be. There is a gentle companionship in that. The patient dark does not know you are here, resting, thinking of it, and yet here you both are on the same quiet planet, holding the same calm. You in your bed, the cave in its stone, both of you simply gently at rest in the dark. The patience of the underground is a good patience to carry into sleep. The way the drop takes its time, the way the crystal grows without hurry, the way the still water simply waits. Let some of that slow, calm, unhurried quality be in your own drift toward sleep now. There is no rush to fall asleep, and no moment that must be reached. Sleep comes the way water finds its way through stone, gently, slowly, by its own quiet path, without being forced and without being hurried. It does not need to be summoned, it only needs to be allowed. If your eyes are still open, you may let them close now. There is nothing more to see down here. The dark does not need to be watched. It will keep its calm and hold its silence and let its slow drops fall, whether anyone is there or not. There is nothing left for you to do. Sleep deeply now. The night will hold you the way the deep rock holds the dark, steadily, gently, all the way through. Tomorrow the slow drops will still be falling. The still water will still be calm. The patient underground will still be exactly as it is, asking nothing, unchanged and at peace. Until then, drift. Drift slowly. Drift completely. Drift down into the calm, patient, silent dark, where the slow drops fall in the quiet, where the still pools wait in the black, and where the gentle underground holds its peace on its own, whether anyone is watching or not. The dark is patient. The night is long. There is room for you to rest here, in the quiet company of the deep, for as long as you need. Let go now gently, and let the patient dark carry you the rest of the way. Let your breathing slow to the pace of the cave now. A long, soft drop gathers and falls, and a quiet pause follows before the next. Let each breath arrive that gently, and leave that gently with a soft, unhurried pause between. No effort, no counting, just the slow, calm tempo of the dark. Let your body grow still the way a deep cave pool is still, perfectly level, perfectly calm, reflecting nothing, going nowhere, simply at rest in the stone. There is nothing it needs to hold and nothing it needs to do. Let it settle, soft and heavy and quiet, and let the dark hold its weight for you. If a thought drifts by, let it drift, the way a slow ripple crosses a still pool and fades back to calm. You do not have to follow it. The cave does not follow anything. It simply lets things pass gently and returns to its quiet, and you can let your mind do the very same thing now. Feel how completely the dark surrounds you, kindly on every side, not pressing, not heavy, just close and soft and even the way deep still water surrounds something resting in it. There is no edge you need to find tonight, no way out you need to keep. You are simply held gently in the calm. Far above this calm, the busy surface is still turning, with all its light and noise and hurry, but none of it reaches down here, and none of it needs to. Tonight you are below all of that in the quiet layer where the day cannot follow and nothing is asked of you at all. Let the slow drip be the only thing that marks the time now. Somewhere far off in the dark, soft, even unhurried, asking nothing, expecting nothing. Between each gentle drop there is a long, calm quiet, and in that quiet there is nothing you need to do but rest. The pale creatures of the deep water are resting now too, perfectly still in their dark pools, as they have rested through countless quiet nights before this one. The slow stone is growing, a hair's width in a lifetime. The whole patient underground is at rest, and you are simply resting with it. There is nowhere left to go tonight and nothing left to reach. We have come all the way down gently to the deepest calm there is, and here we may simply stay soft and still for as long as sleep takes to come, and it will come in its own slow time the way water finds its way through stone. So let go the rest of the way now. Let the last of the day sink down through you and settle like silt drifting gently to the floor of a still pool until everything is clear and calm and quiet. The patient dark has you. It is in no hurry. It will hold you softly all the way through the night. Good night. Let yourself rest now. The slow drops are still falling tonight, somewhere in the dark, building stone a hair's width in a lifetime. The still cave pools are still black and patient and perfectly calm. The deep silent galleries are exactly as they have been for 100,000 quiet years. The world will keep going, with or without your watching. You can let go. Good night from the Circadian Institute.